little bit of a coffee stop. I've stopped here. Like I said, guys, you marry the right person. She made me a lekker banana bread, and then I think she's been watching the videos as well, and she put a bit of jam inside here, so yeah, nice and moist. I've done about 2.5 hours in the ride now, done some efforts. I'm always doing efforts, like you guys know. I think it's time to give you guys a little bit of an update on what's going to be coming up, the lead up to the Tour de France, some goals and ambitions. First of all, I'm hoping to make the Tour de France team, so got quite a lot of boxes to tick before we get there. A couple of races. We've got Norway coming up next week. It's a 6-day stage race. Pretty tough roads. Never been there before. I have raced in Norway though, but it's quite a difficult race. I thought it was going to be a bit more like opportunistic, short little climbs and a small group finish, but it seems like we'll only get down stage 5 and 6. The other days there's the GC day, 2 GC days, and then there's the sprint day. So it will be quite a gnarly start. It's going to be definitely a climber that wins this race. We got Cole Hagen going, and then we got Paddy Bevan as well. So they 2 guys that are in great shape at the moment. Then I'm going to return home. I'm going to have 1 or 2 days at home. Then I'm going to shoot up to Andorra for about 8 or 9 days, and pretty much just ride in the climbs. I mean, I'm going to be at altitude, but it's not really about being at altitude. It's more about me locking down. It's not about being away from the family, but I get to focus. I get to do things more right. If I'm not at home, it's about just trying to lose 1 or 2 kilos more. Also doing things a bit more right, recovering more. Like I said again, it's not that home is bad, but I do things better for the bike if I'm away. So it's more about getting some structure in before the Tour de Suisse. Then I'm going to go to Tour de Suisse, which is an 8 or 9 day stage race. Very tough. It's that and the Dauphiné before the Tour de France, where the selection for the Tour de France team is made. So you've got to kind of impress with 1 or 2 of those races. Now, a couple of us are on the long list for the Tour de France. I'm one of them. There's probably about 10 or 12 guys from our team that is on that list. But yeah, I think there's no assurance that you're going, because lots of things can change. I think going forwards, we've got injuries that can play a part. We've got guys showing some late form before the Tour de France that can also, sway things. Will we be taking a sprinter? Well, that's to be determined. I mean, maybe the team feels that we've got a great chance of winning the sprint stages in the Tour, so all up in the air at the moment. But I do think they'll probably take some fresh horses to the Tour de France. It's pretty hard to back up and do from the Giro. So, but yeah, I've got to kind of show something as well to the team, I guess, going forwards, to kind of solidify my spot, as most teams are expecting their riders to do. And now we do have some riders that are probably, sure going, but these things can always change. I remember when I was first year World Tour Pro with Orica, I wasn't even due to do the Tour de France. I was doing the Giro d'Italia, and then they pulled me out of the Giro and told me I'm going to the Tour de France. So I was one of those young guys that took one of the older guys' spots in the Tour. So I know those kinds of things can come back, and I know the roles can reverse. So there's a lot of ambitious guys on our team too that want to make it. Is there competition within the team? Probably not. Not against each other, but of course people want to be going to the Tour de France. People want to be making that next step in their careers. I think it's this will be my 9th Tour de France, I think, if I go. So that's, experiences there. But yeah, like I say, it's not a race where you guaranteed a spot. Definitely, do I want to be on the start line? Yes. Is it a race I enjoy? It is a race I enjoy. It's, I've had the goods and the bads of the Tour de France. I mean, I've been to the Tour de France, ridden 21 days and got nothing. Then I had like 2019 where we won 4 stages in the Tour de France. That was amazing to be a part of that team. That was a special team that. Anyway, like you're saying, they're going to base the selection on form, on how you fit into the team, what our team's objectives are going to be. Are we going for a climber? Are we going for stage wins? Are we going to go for the mountain jersey? Are we going to go for sprints? So we'll basically be choosing a team based on that. And now it's important these next couple of weeks to show what you've got and solidify your spot in the Tour de France. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a nice challenge. It's always good to set that goal for the season. You know, we've done part one of the season, which was the classics, the Ardennes, some of the smaller stage races, those kinds of things. But now it's time to look forward to the big races. And not that the Giro is not a big race, but the Tour de France is the biggest Grand Tour. And a lot of times, when you do the Tour de France, people ask you, do you want to come back again? And you say no. And then it's the next year, and it's people are talking about, and there's a bit of hype, and people back home are asking, are you going? And then we all kind of, it's like that party. I always say it's like that party where you don't get in, like you say you don't want to go to, and you're like, I don't care if I don't get invited. But then the party happens, and you realize you don't get an invite, and then you're like, I wish I'd gone. So hoping I get the invite. But yeah, like I said, I think just got to trust the process now going forward, put the head down. It was bittersweet last year after missing the Tour de France Olympic Games, so definitely want to get back on the grid. It's also contract season, so for a lot of guys, myself included, it's an important place of the season to kind of show your worth as a rider. Obviously if you get picked for the Tour de France team, you already a lot of teams see the guys that get picked for the Tour de France as other teams, best choices. So it's always an honor to go to the Tour de France, and having your guys' support, pushing me through to through the other Tour de France's and giving me such great memories. I look forward to the challenge. I hope that Norway goes well, and then I hope that Swiss goes well, and then I hope that I see you guys in the start there in Copenhagen. So that's how we go. And keep the dream alive. Guys, thanks for watching. See you soon.